This is episode 7 of the Empower Me Parents podcast, and today's topic, modern mental health. Welcome to the Empower Me Parents podcast, a proudly South African podcast for parents of high school students. Your child's success and all the rest is our mission. I'm your host, Master Certified Life Coach, Nicole van Rensburg. Let's do this. I'm back. I know that some of you possibly thought I abandoned ship and stopped creating this podcast. I definitely have not. I know it's been well over a month, but the beginning of this year has been really interesting. It's not been bad, but it's been so busy, and getting everyone settled, my kids settled and myself settled and everything settled has been quite challenging. So I've decided for the year, I'm going to commit to one podcast episode a month. And the reason for that is because I do everything myself, and the editing and the getting everything ready for social media, getting everything uploaded really takes quite a bit of time, and running my business full-time and full-time momming and full-time wifing and all those things, all the hats that us women need to wear are taking quite a lot of time. And I'd rather commit to once a month and give you the quality and the care that I would like from this podcast than trying to rush every 2 weeks. So that is my commitment to you, once a month, to release something meaningful to help you help your child. So welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I am very excited about today's episode. I feel it is more important than ever to talk about this topic, and I am immensely passionate about it. So you'll hear I sometimes might go off on a tangent. I'll try to rein it in so that I don't go off too much, but this is such an incredibly important topic. And this episode is as much for you as it is for your teen, because mental health is no joke. It has truly become a modern buzzword that everyone talks about, and everyone's encouraged to work on their mental health, or people make decisions based on improving their mental health or do things for their mental health. So let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's see what we can do to actually understand this concept and improve in this area, because it's very vague. And I'd like to go in deep for us to get a better understanding and have some tools to improve in this area. So we're all very much aware of common mental illnesses like depression, dementia, and schizophrenia. And some of you might also have heard the new term for people with brain differences being referred as neurodivergent. Now, we'll go look into that term in another episode and talk about all of these and how it is affecting our young people. But today, as I said, we're focusing on mental health. But in order for us to understand mental health, we need to look at what is going on in the mental health industry and in the world. And some of us are familiar with those mental illnesses because we might actually have family members or friends or even ourselves have suffered from mental health struggles. And because of that, we are very familiar with mental illness. And research has shown that the diagnoses in mental illness has doubled in the past couple of years, especially after COVID-19 pandemic. And in an article entitled The Hidden Crisis by Daniela Biraro on Gavi.org in October 2023, she highlights that while adults and teens both face significant mental health challenges after COVID-19, the nuances of their experiences are very different. And I know that we're also over talking about COVID-19, but we cannot ignore the impact it's had on our lives and on the lives of our children. So adults often grapple with stresses related to job security, financial stability, and the health of aging family members. Therefore, adult mental health manifests and shows up in the following ways: in anxiety, depression, and burnout. On the other hand, young people face a unique set of challenges linked to their developmental stage. They are navigating formative years of socialization, identity formation, and academic progress, all of which have been hugely disrupted by the pandemic. Their mental health struggles manifest in heightened anxiety, depressive symptoms, and issues related to self-esteem and self-worth, which is different to adults. For them, the social isolation, the abrupt switch to remote learning, and the absence of extracurricular activities and milestone events like graduations can have long-term implications on their emotional and psychological well-being. All parents are also hugely aware of the impact the pandemic had on our child's academic progress. For 2, and in some more cases, years, our children did not receive the normal, tried and tested education that they need and were either held back and forced to push through into new grades when many of them had significant gaps in their foundational knowledge. This too has had a significant impact on their mental health in all aspects. Well, now enough of the doom and gloom, because we cannot change what happened in the past and we cannot control it. So let's go further into mental health and how we can improve what we can control, which is what we do now and going forward. First, we must ask, what is mental health and how do you know you are mentally healthy? It's so vague. So let's go. If you answer that question along the lines of, well, I have mental health because I don't have a mental illness, then I think we are setting our standards very, very low. This is true for physical health as well. Am I physically healthy because I don't have a physical illness? No, we know this. Some of us have underlying conditions that don't necessarily impact us so severely, but that doesn't mean we're healthy. So let's start there. And by that above-mentioned definition, if we look at mental health as not having a mental illness, I don't think it's helpful because there's no action involved. If we look at the official definition by Googling it, simple Google search, it says that mental health is defined as having a sense of well-being. Now we're getting a little closer. So what does that mean? I think there's a huge crisis in the mental health industry, and the reason why is because people misinterpret what it means to be a human being and to have well-being, especially teenagers and young people. The invention of modern technology like TV, the internet, our exposure to social media and everyone else's lives has created this idea that to be mentally healthy, we have to be happy all the time. And we should be well-being all the time. And that is not true. And because of that, people are suffering. A lot of us are pretending to have well-being all of the time because we don't want to be seen as being mentally ill. We want to be able to say we are mentally well and happy in our lives, but many of us aren't. Let's be honest. We're upset with ourselves when we don't have more well-being and when we are not happier. And because of this, some of our teens and us are diagnosed with some form of mental illness because we don't know what to do. We don't feel right, so therefore surely we have a mental illness. Now, I'm not downplaying real severe medical mental illness. Those need to be treated very often with medication and other forms of therapy. But what I'm talking about is the less severe mental struggles that we face daily. And these can be improved with a learning of realistic life, mindset, and emotional management skills. Let's now redefine mental wellness as something we can work towards. Not a state of being that we should have now and be complete. It's something we can work towards and constantly improve. When else have you actually been told by a doctor, a teacher, or other professional, hey, I want you to work on your mental health and this is how you do it? Nope. They can show you how to do this with physical health by giving you exercise programs or diet programs or that kind of thing, but they don't do this as much with mental health. We're obsessed with having intelligence and doing well in school, and we're obsessed with this for our children as well, getting good marks and being able to produce knowledge, but that is not mental health. Working on our brains in school and doing courses is a beautiful thing because we do want our kids to grow and expose themselves to new things. We want them to be smart and to have interesting conversations. We want them to gain skills and knowledge so that they can go out in the world and produce value and make money to survive. That's what the education system is designed to do, developed to do. But there is so much stuff that they're learning and studying and that they never apply in their lives and that we never applied in our lives. I cannot remember half the stuff that I learned at school, and I sometimes wonder if that's a waste of brain space and energy. Where is the part in education where we're being taught to manage our lives so that we can have the so-called well-being? It's a huge missing piece. Hence my mission in life, to help people learn these skills to improve and thrive in their lives through life coaching. Mental health is not about being constantly positive, where everything is perfect all the time. That is not real life. And if you're trying to achieve that, or if your child's trying to achieve that, they are definitely going to fail. So I thought I'd create a checklist of 12 things that can help develop excellent mental health or better mental health. You can use these as a starting point to focus on your personal growth and your child's personal growth by working on improving as many of them as possible and as fast or slow as you would like. There's no rush. You can do this on your own through reading books, watching videos, listening to podcasts. But one of the most effective strategies is to hire a life coach or some form of coach to help you develop a game plan that doesn't overwhelm you and who can guide you with the appropriate tools and knowledge on the journey of growth. And by you, I mean you as well as your child. Don't think that they need to be an adult before they can learn these things that I'm about to share with you. So let's start. Number 1. You have excellent mental health, or you are really good in the mental health space if, number 1, you have beautiful, realistic goals and dreams for your future that excite you, and you have a solid plan to achieve them. So where do you want to be in a year from now? Where do you want to be in 5 years from now? Who do you want to be in 10 years from now? So that's number 1. Number 2, you have emotional balance. And by that I mean that you know that life has good and bad. The world is designed, nature is designed. There's light, there's dark, there's happy, there's sad, there's hot, there's cold. It's contrast. It's the 50-50 of life. And if you know that that's normal, that's how life is developed, you'll be less resistant when you're having the bad 50. You know that it's normal and it's part of life, and you can regulate yourself and not let yourself crumble when you're in the negative space. It's just part of the balance of life. Number 3, you have low or no buffering. Now, I'm not talking about internet connection. We're all aware of buffering on the internet. I'm talking about buffering in your life. These are the things you do to escape your life. The things you do by avoiding being present and to distract yourself from dealing with what is truly going on inside and in your life. These are false pleasures designed to numb and avoid negative emotions. Examples of these are overeating, over-drinking, over-smoking, over too much TVing, gaming too much social media. Working too much is also a way of avoiding what's really going on. So if you lower the buffering and deal with what's going on, you will have better mental health. If we look at number 4, you take action. You don't just talk about doing things, but you actually put it on your calendar or your schedule and take steps to make things happen. You don't sit waiting. You do. Number 5, you have internal control. You do not try to control the world around you, your environment, and the people around you. You control yourself and your own life. Another way of saying it is you have self-control. You know that you have a choice in how you react and what you do in all circumstances. The world People around you and the environment do not control your life either. You do not blame these things for the things that you do. Stop blaming other people. Take ownership of what you are doing. Do not be a helpless victim. Number 6, you have self-awareness of your internal life and work on improving it. When I mean internal life, I mean is you take part in some form of activity where you inquire and try to understand what is going on in your mind and your emotional health. You understand why you do things. You understand why you don't do things. You understand why you react in certain ways, and you work on improving this. Examples of ways to become more self-aware include meditation, which we can talk about in a separate episode, as well as a journaling practice. Both of these we'll talk about in more detail in separate episodes, where I'll provide more concrete tools on how to use these. Number 7, self-care. Also a buzzword that's exploded over the last couple of years. Self-care means you consciously do things that improve yourself, that bring joy, and you take care of yourself. You choose to do the things that are contributing to your life and the future life you envision. If you take care of yourself, you are much more able to take care of other people. And this is such a cliche, but it's so true. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And examples of self-care could be taking 10 minutes a day to just breathe, or just sit and do nothing, or taking 10 minutes to indulge in one of the hobbies that bring you joy and relax you, like reading or painting or drawing. That is self-care, and it includes also looking after your body, brushing your hair, taking care of your skin, making time to moisturize. These are just examples. Obviously, you've got your own routines, but if you don't, look after yourself, because that generates good feelings inside and allow you to be in a better space to help other people. All right, number 8. Unconditional self-love. A little bit different to self-care. Self-care is doing things to make yourself feel better. Self-love is how you view yourself. Can you love yourself? Do you love yourself even when you make mistakes? Do you beat yourself up if you make mistakes? That is not self-love. Self-love is understanding that you're a human being and you're going to make mistakes. When you grow or when you try new things, of course you're going to make mistakes. And forgiving yourself for sometimes not having self-control and sometimes not being perfect, because we can't be. We're humans, not robots. We have compassion for ourselves, and we don't beat ourselves up for being human and making mistakes. We learn from them and we try to be better next time. Number 9, time management. You manage your time effectively not only to fit in all the things you have to do, but also the things that you want to do to become who you want to become. You know how to prioritize the things in your life, and you don't always put other people's deadlines before your own. Now, this is challenging. Other people's lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on your part. And people do this all the time. They don't plan, and then they dump it on you, and they make it super urgent. And then we feel pressurized to please them, and we then make their urgent matter, chuck away the things that we've planned, and try to sort out their drama. This is not good time management. And this ties very much into boundaries, which we'll speak about just now. So time management is an unbelievably important part of our lives. You understand as well that we have limited time on this earth. So it is in your best interest to manage your time effectively. Make sure you are trying to create the life that is fulfilling and purposeful, and the time that you spend with your family is meaningful and you're present. Time is limited, so we respect it by planning it well. Next up, number 10, confidence. We have confidence in ourselves. We have confidence in our ability to grow, and very big, confidence in showing who we truly are without putting on a show, without putting on a mask or pretending to be who we think other people want us to be. Oh, this is hard. So hard. And to have confidence, you pursue discovering and presenting who you truly authentically are in the world with confidence. So if, this is just an example, if you like to wear jeans and people around you think that jeans are not appropriate or jeans are not what they prefer to wear, you will wear those jeans because you like them and you want to wear them, and this is who you are. It's a silly example. Jeans is not really that deep, but you're not putting on a show. And having confidence in who you are makes it much easier to pursue the things that are important to you. And presenting yourself to the world, taking on new challenges can only be done if you have confidence in your ability to be able to do things, and confidence in your ability to pivot or switch when you've made a mistake. They all tie together, these 12 actually. I'm sure you can see already how they interlink. Number 11, you maintain and set healthy boundaries in all aspects of your life. This is a very challenging topic, and we'll go into it in detail in a separate episode, because people misconceive or misunderstand what boundaries are. And I do think it needs a separate episode, but you have healthy boundaries of what you will tolerate, and then what you will do if someone crosses your boundary. So the simplest way to explain it would be an example of the boundary of the gate around your house. If someone crosses that boundary without your permission, you know what you're going to do. So we've all got in South Africa alarms set up, and your protection services will arrive if someone crosses the boundary without your permission, if the alarm goes off. So in terms of that security, we've got healthy boundaries. Yes, South Africans must have healthy boundaries. It's for our protection. But what about emotional boundaries? What about moral boundaries? We need to teach our children to identify what are the things that they stand for and will not stand for, and what they will do if people cross the boundaries. For teenagers, they need this so badly. If we're looking at romantic relationships they're going to be exposed to, oh my goodness, this is another separate topic. But if we can teach them to have healthy boundaries and learn to say no, or learn to not commit to things they don't want to do, that is setting really healthy boundaries. Our final point, number 12, is community. Being part of a community where you interact socially is critical for well-being and a sense of belonging. Being part of a community where you contribute meaningfully is even better. Meaningfully and selflessly is critical for mental health. There's nothing more healing than helping someone else who is possibly worse off than you, because it gives us perspective and makes us believe, or makes us realize that we're not alone in this world in our struggles. Social interaction lowers stress hormones. Social interaction is critical. I speak to so many people who are so alone in the world. They're surrounded by hundreds of people, but they don't feel like they belong. So social skills are incredibly important for mental health. Now, it all might seem impossible or super overwhelming, but small mindful steps every day towards becoming the person you want to be, willing to make mistakes and try again, is going to make the difference in your growth in terms of your mental health. Little by little, little becomes a lot. Have a conversation with your teen, or better yet, have them listen to this episode and decide on their own growth journey. Because some of this is not talked about and we don't realize how important these things are. So let's recap the 12 things very quickly, because it was a lot, and this might help you to select where you'd like to start. You have excellent mental health when, number 1, you're excited about your future and have planned how you will achieve your goals. Number 2, you have emotional balance. You know that life is 50-50. 50% of the time you're going to feel good and 50% of the time you're not going to feel so good, and it's normal. Number 3, you have little to no buffering. You do not take part in things that help you escape your life all the time. Every now and then is fine, but all the time, over anything is not good for your mental health. Number 4, you take action to make things happen in your life. You don't sit around and wait. Number 5, you have internal control. You take responsibility for everything that you do, say, be, see. You take responsibility. Number 6, self-awareness. You know what is happening in your mind and your emotions, and you're aware of everything, and you work on improving the areas that are not serving you. Number 7, you take part in self-care. You look after your body, you look after your health, you look after your mind, you look after your emotions, so that you have a full cup to pour into the world. You have unconditional self-love. You are not so hard on yourself that you cannot do anything because you're paralyzed and fearful of making mistakes. We are human. We make mistakes. It is okay. Forgive yourself. Number 9, we manage our time that we have on this earth to the best of our abilities and choose the things that we want to do daily, monthly, yearly, that matter and contribute to what it is we want to build in our lives. Number 10, we have confidence in our ability to grow, recover from mistakes, our ability to present who we are in our magnificent glory to the world. Number 11, we have boundaries, healthy boundaries that we know what we will stand for and what we will do when people cross our boundaries. And we do those things when people cross our boundaries. Number 12, we are part of a community that is meaningful, that we contribute to meaningfully, and that other people contribute to our lives meaningfully. We belong somewhere, and you need to find that. This has been an immense pleasure to talk about this. As you can tell, I am very passionate about it. And some of the topics need more delving, more tools, more strategies. But here is a good start for you to start deciding what it is you want to start improving on. Maybe some of this is something you've never thought about before. And a lot of it, let's be honest, your children are not aware of. So one of the biggest steps of growth is becoming aware of things and aware of different perspectives to what the world is showing us, and then deciding, what do we want to do? How do we want to present ourselves? Where do we want to improve? And going for it full on. So I look forward to chatting to you in our next episode next month. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for pouring so much into your child. I know that you do. And I know that we're doing our best as parents with the knowledge and the skills that we have. Don't beat yourself up if your child is not perfect. Remember, they're human too. Don't over-dramatize when they make mistakes. They need to grow. And if you're unsure about this, making mistakes, needing to grow, go and check out our succeeding episode. I'll link to it in the show notes. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Hey, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast and want to take things to a new level in your or your child's life, visit empowermecoachingsa.co.za and sign up for one of our personalized coaching programs. Let's do this. See you next time.